Welcome to the party, everybody. It's my 25th birthday, February 13th. Here, you can have a little picture of me as a baby. Baby reveal. And on the day of my birth, we talk about... Directed by Mick Jackson and released 2 years before the similar When the Wind Blows, this is one of the most prominent movies showing a nuclear attack on the city of Sheffield, England, and the subsequent nuclear winter that dooms all of life. Using immersive sounds and pivoting cinematography, you and I will experience the spiritual death of us all. You can catch this movie on Tubi. Want to see all the messed up parts? Stay tuned for the breakdown. Cue the Gohan. Our society is woven together like a web, and those threads that make us strong can also kill us all. We can see those threads in Sheffield, England. Jimmy and Ruth are sightseeing with the radio almost drowning them out with mentions of war in Iran. Ruth learns she's pregnant, and all the while the United States and the Soviets are fighting in Iran. This would be a good video for Valentine's Day too. I really like hearing all the constant news reports about the United States and the Soviets beginning to fight. It creates a sort of anxiety that even persists within our own real world. This girl here watches the US president threaten the Soviets after they sank a US submarine. Upcoming war is freaking out the country. This bikini alert state changes from black to amber, which warns of war and threats to the UK government. Jimmy goes to a bar where everyone learns of the Soviets putting nuclear weapons in Iran, and then he goes to chat up these two ladies. I doubt Ruth would like that. Protests begin, food shortages persist, and war officially starts. Once the Americans and Soviets start fighting, people shoplift to save their hides. Police start disrupting peaceful demonstrations, and the Sheffield City Council begin moving to nuclear bunkers without their families, and everyone begins preparing for nuclear war. It feels like a horror movie with the ominous warnings and directions from the UK government telling its citizens that this is the end of all they know. In a government bunker, the officials hear an attack warning. Soon, sirens begin for the public and they run in horror like ants. This nuclear bombing scene is scary. 9 million people die in the first blast. 210 megatons fall just on the UK. That's over 210,000 kilotons. The bombs that dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were only 40 kilotons when added together. After the blast, fires everywhere kill and cremate even more people. The government officials survive the bombing and get their bearings. Jimmy's parents are wounded with cries for help all around them. Ruth and her parents are alive in a dark area as more rumbles come. A radioactive fallout begins affecting everyone an hour after the blast. Jimmy's parents find their young son Michael crushed by debris. City Council member Clive Sutton realizes that his family is surely dead, his wife and kids. Ruth is pregnant, breathing in all this radiation, and thinks that Jimmy is dead. The government officials in this bunker are going through hell and have to make tough decisions to save rations. Ruth's grandmother dies. Ruth leaves her parents exploring death and despair in all corners. People, animals, alive and dead, losing their sanity. Nuclear clouds begin to infect Earth's atmosphere, dropping temperatures to freezing levels. Survivors beg for food with nothing to lose. This makeshift hospital is a hall of horrors with terrified screaming and human decay. People begin killing each other for mere cans of food, the only viable currency. In fact, Ruth's parents are killed by looters. Survivors who can work get more food than those who can't, and the bodies don't get buried or cremated. 5 weeks after the attacks, nothing is going to plan, and fallout claims more lives. Disease run rampant. People are forced to live cramped and crowded. 4 months have passed since the bombings, and up to 38 million have died. That's over 12 times the people who live just in my entire state. Crops fail to cultivate due to a variety of factors. Ruth is about to give birth in a patch of hay. Reminds me of how Jesus was born, and Ruth cries knowing the future feels doomed. I love the shot of the baby advertisement contrasting with the bleak, colorless horror. Yet the sun begins to shine again. Population of the entire country falls to between 4 to 11 million people. 10 years have passed and Ruth dies in her sleep. Jane, her daughter, sees this. Children watch VHS tapes to learn. The future is up to them to rebuild using the threads of the past. These kids here fight about food and they speak a broken form of English. Jane, Ruth's daughter, is sexually assaulted by some boys and she later gives birth to the baby. Upon looking at her baby, she begins to scream in horror, and that is the end. The credits are quiet. And that was one real dark movie. I think this movie is a necessary watch. A really good movie that is even sadder than When the Wind Blows. I liked how immersive the sound effects were. If something can make a sound, you probably heard it, which helped place the viewer in the film. I thought the red tape that stressed the bunker politicians was interesting. It reminded me of that Shin Godzilla movie. I need to watch -1 already. I liked that the film focused only on Sheffield, really. There is a quote by famous author James Joyce, who frequently wrote about Dublin, Ireland. James Joyce once said, "I always write about Dublin because if I can get to the heart of Dublin, I can get to the heart of all the cities of the world." And I think you can visualize that with this movie focusing on Sheffield. Bombed beyond measure, we dive into the hearts of the city's survival. Therefore, we dive into the heart of all the world. Most disturbing moment is probably, for me personally, the bombing. It's erratic and crazy. We take for granted the order that we have in our threaded society, and to see the citizens realize the end of all they know was harsh to witness. Most enjoyed moment is it'll have to be how the film was laid out. I never felt confused watching this film despite all the varying points of views. I can't really say I enjoyed something from the plot itself because it was all downhill from the beginning. Watch this video on When the Wind Blows, a British film just like this one that also tugs on your heartstrings. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to see more Spooky Rice. And thanks for joining me on this crazy birthday. Here's to another year of Spooky Rice. Thanks for watching. Spooky out.